Her forever was death. They looked like the perfect couple. Sarah Mitchell and Daniel Roberts. Two names that once lit up wedding invitations, birthday cards, and cheerful Facebook posts. To the outside world, they were a picture of love and stability, the kind of couple that made people believe in happily ever after. But behind the photographs, behind the staged smiles, there was a silence so heavy it could crush a soul. And if you've watched enough true crime, you already know, those perfect smiles often hide the darkest secrets. What started as a love story would soon unravel into one of the most chilling cases you've ever heard. Stay with me, because the ending of this story will haunt you long after this video ends. Sarah grew up in a quiet town in North Carolina. She was the kind of woman people described as pure light. Always smiling, always helping others, always dreaming big. She worked as a nurse, spending her nights caring for strangers and her mornings catching up on her own life. Her friends used to joke that she was too kind for this world. But kindness alone doesn't protect you. And sometimes kindness is the very trait predators search for. That's exactly how she met Daniel Roberts. A charming, ambitious man with a wide smile and confidence that drew everyone in. To Sarah, he looked like stability, like a future. To Daniel, she looked like prey. Their romance was fast, almost blinding. Within weeks, he showered her with flowers, late-night texts, promises of forever. Within months, they were inseparable. Sarah's friends cheered her on, her family approved, and she allowed herself to believe she had finally found her person. But here's the first chilling hook. Predators don't reveal themselves on day one. They wear masks. They tell you everything you want to hear. They give you the illusion of safety. And by the time the mask slips, it's already too late. Guys, if you're with me so far, hit that like button and subscribe, because what comes next is where the nightmare begins. After their wedding, the cracks started to show. Daniel hated when Sarah went out with her friends. He'd text her repeatedly when she was at work. He criticized her clothes, her voice, even how long she took to reply. At first, Sarah mistook it for love. She told her mother, "He just cares about me a lot." But caring doesn't feel like a cage. Control rarely arrives all at once. It seeps in slowly, like poison in water. One day it's a jealous question. The next day it's a demand. Before long, Sarah realized she wasn't free. But by then, she was too deep inside the prison Daniel had built. 2 years into the marriage, Sarah began keeping a diary. At first, her words were sweet. She wrote about wanting children, about building a home, about Daniel's good days. But then the entries grew darker. Page by page, she documented the manipulation, the screaming matches, the nights Daniel locked her out of the bedroom, the days he accused her of betrayal without reason. One entry read, "He doesn't hit me, but sometimes I wish he would, because at least then I could show someone the bruises. Right now, no one can see the damage." Imagine writing those words. Imagine living that reality. That diary would later become her only voice, her only evidence, when she couldn't speak for herself anymore. Friends noticed Sarah pulling away. She stopped coming to brunches, stopped laughing at the jokes she used to love, stopped answering her phone as often. "She's just busy," Daniel would say, brushing it off with a smile. But the truth was darker. Sarah wasn't busy. She was being erased. And here's the tragedy that makes my chest tight. People around her saw the signs. They saw the light fading, the joy draining, the fear rising. But like so many of us, they didn't know how to step in. Guys, don't let me lose you here. Drop an emoji in the comments if you feel Sarah's pain. And remember, sharing this video helps keep her story alive. The fights escalated. Neighbors overheard shouting late at night. Sarah wrote in her diary, "I feel like I'm walking on eggshells every second of the day. If I breathe wrong, he'll explode." Another entry chilled investigators to the bone. "If anything ever happens to me, it won't be an accident." Think about that. A woman so scared, so certain, that she wrote her own prophecy. And the most heartbreaking part? No one read those words until it was too late. Then came November. Sarah's sister invited her to dinner. Sarah promised she'd be there. She never showed. Her phone went dark. Her car sat untouched in the driveway. And inside the house, Daniel calmly told police. She went for a walk. She never came back. But Sarah wasn't the type to disappear. She wasn't the type to abandon her family. Immediately, red flags went up. Flyers were printed. Dogs searched the woods. Volunteers combed the neighborhood. Sarah's family went on television, begging for her safe return. A man obsessed with control, a ticking bomb ready to explode. And every time, The jury shifted uncomfortably in their seat. Daniel's defense team tried to twist the story. They argued Sarah was overly dramatic. They claimed she was unstable, that the diary was just a venting journal. But how do you argue against a woman predicting her own death? How do you erase words like, "If you're reading this, then something has gone horribly wrong"? At one point, the prosecutor held up the diary and said, "This is Sarah's testimony. She wrote it because she knew this day would come." The room fell silent. Even the judge leaned forward, and you could see the moment the jury understood. Sarah had spoken louder in death than Daniel ever could in life. Witnesses came forward. Friends testified about the times Sarah showed up to gatherings with tears in her eyes. Neighbors described hearing shouting at all hours of the night. Her sister recalled phone calls where Sarah whispered in fear because Daniel was in the next room. One friend broke down on the stand, saying, "We thought it was just arguments. We thought it would get better. But now she's gone, and I'll never forgive myself for not doing more." Her words hung heavy. And if you're watching this right now, take that as your reminder. If you see something, say something. Silence can kill. As the trial went on, another shocking twist came to light. Detectives discovered Daniel had been searching dating apps and messaging other women in the weeks before Sarah's disappearance. Not only had he planned her murder, but he was already preparing to replace her. That revelation shattered the last of his mask. The grieving husband image collapsed in front of everyone, and the jury saw him for what he truly was, not a broken man, but a selfish predator who believed he could get away with murder. Guys, if this part of the story makes your blood boil, tap that subscribe button right now. We're building a community where we don't let monsters like this go unnoticed. Finally, after weeks of testimony, the jury delivered their verdict. Guilty. On all counts. The courtroom erupted. Sarah's family wept. Daniel sat expressionless, staring straight ahead as if the words "life sentence" meant nothing. But to Sarah's loved ones, those two words meant justice, at least as close to justice as they would ever get. The judge addressed the court. This was not just a crime of passion. This was a calculated act of control and cruelty. And today, this court ensures you will never harm another soul again. With that, Daniel was led away in chains, his final walk as a free man. But the story didn't end there. Sarah's diary became a symbol. Advocates for domestic violence survivors began sharing it in campaigns. Her words were printed on posters, spoken at rallies, whispered by women who felt trapped but didn't know how to ask for help. Sarah's voice, the one Daniel tried to silence, grew louder than ever. Her mother later said, "Daniel thought he erased her. But now, she speaks louder than ever before." And she was right. Sometimes, the voice of the victim becomes unstoppable, even after death. Guys, if you believe Sarah's story should reach millions, don't just watch. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's make sure no one forgets her name. Looking back, the warning signs were everywhere. The isolation, the control, the sudden changes in behavior, the diary entries. But like so many tragedies, no one connected the dots until it was too late. That's what makes this story so devastating. It wasn't just one life lost. It was a warning ignored. And maybe that's the real question here. How many Sarahs are out there right now? How many people are smiling in photos while secretly documenting their pain in journals no one has seen? It's haunting, and it's why stories like this need to be told. As we close, let me talk directly to you. If you've been with me through this whole story, thank you. These aren't easy videos to watch. They're heavy, they're painful, but they matter. Sarah's story matters. And if you want to keep hearing stories like this, subscribe right now to True Crime Stories Time. Hit that bell so you never miss when we bring another untold case to light. And please share this video with someone. Not just because it helps the channel, but because you never know who might see it and recognize themselves, or recognize someone they love. Sometimes one shared story can save a life. Before you go, let me leave you with Sarah's final words, written in her diary just days before her death. "If they ever find me, tell them I loved deeply, I tried bravely, and I only ever wanted peace." That's what makes this so heartbreaking. Sarah didn't want money. She didn't want fame. She just wanted peace. And it was stolen from her by the one person who was supposed to protect her. So tonight, remember Sarah Mitchell. Remember her light. Remember her words. And remember, behind every perfect photo, there might be a story we'll never fully know. Guys, thank you for staying with me until the end. If you haven't yet, smash that like button, drop drop a comment with your thoughts and subscribe to join this community. Because here, we don't just tell stories, we keep their voices alive. This has been True Crime Stories time. I'll see you in the next one.